All right. All right. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Bison, aka Bison Trades, over on Twitter. Welcome back to another episode of RareFUD Radio. On today's episode, we were going to have Marinade. They actually just got back to us. We had already, mapped out the thumbnail and everything like that. So we'll have to get back with them. This is not an indictment on them. They're super busy. I'm sure they're building one of the biggest DeFi liquid staking platforms on Solana. So we are pivoting, and that is okay. Today, we're going to have just a trio show, just us three. We're going to be talking pretty much three things dominating the timeline. That is Friend Tech, Horsies on Photo Finish, and then Heist. Of course, we got to talk some Heist as well. We did just drop Heistcast yesterday, talking about a lot of big news, talking about the future of the game and some updates that are finally in the pipeline to be delivered to your doorstep, to your phone, and everything in between. It's going to be great. I'm really excited for it. But of course, got to bring up my wonderful co-host, my brother in content, Mr. Door himself. Door, how we living?
Hey, yo, what's going on, dog? Every day's a holiday. Your boy just rushed back from CrossFit, so I'm doing good, man. You see my hair's all over the goddamn place.
That's okay. That's good. You got to take care of your health, especially right now when there's not a whole lot in the market. So,
nah, dog, it's kind of
glad to hear it. We also have our other health extraordinaire, Mr. JoeSol himself. Joe, how we living?
Doing well, guys. Doing well. Door out here pumping that iron. I love it.
That's right. Well, I'm going to be pumping some other iron, which is golf clubs, because It's supposed to rain tomorrow. So I got to squeeze in at least 9 right after this. So,
awesome. That's going to be a beautiful day, actually, B. It's beautiful down yonder.
I hope so. It's a little toasty in my garage office, finished garage that the old owners did, and they didn't permit this stuff, man. It's way too hot in here. They didn't do the ducts right. I guarantee you. I guarantee you, if I went up there right now, I could probably identify that they didn't do all the return vents and everything right. So yeah, it's probably a mess up there. It is always like 5 degrees hotter in here, and it's always hotter in the main room. Like it's probably 80 degrees in here right now. So
Jesus,
yeah, a little toastier than I like to, but that's okay. I live in Florida. Can't complain about that. So let's jump into the market, see what's going on in the market right now. Over on sniper.xyz/market-overview. You can go to that tools tab in the top right. Go to market overview if you want to follow along. It's not looking good.
nope.
It hasn't been, but there's a very particular stat that worries me. And this is on Sniper, so we'll cross-examine this data. But looking over at the market overview, the big thing that stands out to me is there's, again, about 2,300 buyers. Nothing new there. Mm-hmm. But 6,337 sellers, which I'm wondering what is happening there. Because that's about, like, at these levels, you usually expect like a 2-to-1, maybe a little over a 2-to-1 from sellers to buyers. That's a little high. That we're closing in on like 3-to-1, and that's a little nerve-wracking to me. I don't know how I feel about it. We can go over to tiexo.com and head over to the analytics tab as well and kind of check out, see if there's anything we're missing over there. No, it's reporting pretty much the same data. It's 2.96 buyers or K buyers over on TXO, and then 6.91 K sellers in the past 24 hours. A lot of selling, and I don't know why. It's probably a lot of people trying to take profits on anything that pumped, would be my guess. But staring down the barrel of 34,000 Solana volume. Magic Eden taking the top market share again at 42.92, almost 43%. Tensor at 39.72. Hades Swap doing Hades Swap things. We're back in that 3K Solana volume range. Solana Art still. Who trades on Solana Art? I need to know this.
I need to find those individuals and like ask them, what are you doing over there?
I don't know.
Arbitrage that I don't know about.
There's got to be something, but I use Sniper. Like, it aggregates everything. I don't see any listings on Solana Art, so I just got to imagine it's like wash traded collection or something like that. So if you scratch that volume, we're looking at like 33K ish, but I don't know, man. It's a little barren in these streets right now.
Yeah, say the least, dog.
Yeah, I mean, if we go over to the nice thing is, if you look on the 7-day chart of the Sniper 50, if you scroll all the way down to that market overview tab, you can see a lot of projects are in the green. You see a lot of green projects here, which is good to see. You like to see it. Everything's up, like, for the most part, like 2%, 7%, 2% on Mad Lads. I mean, it's good to see, but just wondering, are we exhausted? We're in an exhausted market. I mean, what's happening over here, Dor?
Yeah, dog. It's rough out there in the streets, man. I think maybe we see so many sellers because individuals are trying to grab liquidity to rotate to fintech potentially. Maybe they're selling because of the news that FTX is able to liquidate the remainder of their soul, and they're trying to get a spot before that cascade comes in, if it ever comes in. So those are just potentially a couple reasons why we see, a bigger amount of buyers, but even with sellers, but even with that, it's crazy that we have so many sellers, but then we have an uptick in price, but that might be another reason. It's like, oh, here's a little pump right now, so maybe I can exit it real quick. But overall on the NFT side, man, I still think we're in the same situation that we've been in for a couple months now. If a project comes out to mint, you trade it, you definitely don't hold it. You get in, get out, especially if you have a whitelist. And the only projects that you should be holding are things that you can either game to play, such as Heist, Photo Finish. Even Pilots is shaping up right now, but I'm still cautious about Pilots until they get some more syncs going on. But yeah, man, the NFT market, and I don't know, also potentially with the news of the SEC starting to crack down on more collections. So being in NFTs is really, really bearish right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not looking great. Joe, what do you think about the NFT market right now, and where are we at with it?
It's getting to the point where it should be, where like you're building a software as service, or you're building a true community, and the NFT is a vehicle to access that. We're getting less of the pump and dumps, and there's not a lot of liquidity, right? So it's just like whoever's around is here for a real reason now. They're not trying to scam, most likely, just because there's no liquidity here. It's be stupid to spend your money trying to scam when there's nothing there. So I think we're like inversely creating a better environment here. So that's bullish, but there's just not, there's not the exponential gain to be made here. You're buying more as an investor now. Well, you should be, at least, I think, in the NFT hemisphere. My main concern right now is the SPX and the DXY and correlation between those two, because that rolls over onto risk on, and that affects us all the way down into every asset we hold. So that's my biggest thing right now. I think we're going to see a DXY expansion and an SPX rolling over. So bearish on risk on at the moment, but that's where I'm at in the market. Nothing's really changed for me.
Yeah, I mean, the Dixie's up at what, 105.4 ish. Strong uptrend. There's no signs of really slowing down. I mean, it's just little bits of cooling off every now and then, but really dollar's strong right now, and that scares me for any risk on assets, which should be a key point of like, hey, you get in, get out right now. You look for any liquidity, and if you want to play risk on, it needs to be like in and out. For instance, my two wonderful co-hosts and I are on Frentech. You want to know what I did, guys? I bought them and I dumped them instantly. I took
as you should.
As you should.
As you should, dog.
And it's Frentech.
Don't be holding me to an ETH, because it ain't gonna get there, dog. Don't buy Dorian Tech and expect it to pump.
Dude, I was so happy. Guys sold me at like 0.12 ETH, 0.13. I'm like, guys made 10x's on me. Like, I was hyped. That felt amazing. I'm like, please sell me. Buy me back when it's undervalued. Sell me when I'm overvalued. And just have a great time.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing is too, we make trading fees off of it. Like you want volume on your Frentech keys. We're gonna call them keys, and I gotta emphasize that because it's not shares anymore. Thank you so much, legal department over at Frentech. I'm not sure if it's just one hamster.
It's the only reason why I got in, because they changed it to shares, and it's all gamed to me. It's fake. So now I'm in it.
Yeah. So no shares. It's keys, and I mean, I'm having fun over there. It's easy to get in, get out. The thing I hate about it, the thing that drives me nuts is one, the interface. The app sucks so much.
Yeah, it's not good.
I'm sure it'll get better, but you got to imagine they made money hand over fist on this thing. And two is, and that includes like the sell button is hidden under the buy button, so you have to click the buy button, and then you see the option to sell. Then on top of that, you see the buy price. The sell price is that tier lower. And then when you go to sell, it's actually a tier lower than that. So you got to make sure, like, basically the key is you're almost break even if two more people after you buy and nobody else sells. Like your net 2 shares up is the formula. So if you do that, you're pretty much break even. So you don't want to be buying tops or anything like that on Frentech. Frentech's fun, guys. It's fun until it's not fun. Just be wary of that. Like I was there on the first wave. It made no sense to me. It still doesn't. I mean, like I sit there, I'm like, this is literally just paying for Telegram announcement access channels, which is fine. Or just trading because greater fool theory, which is what NFTs are in general. But you just look at that and you're like, okay, I'm not holding anybody for any extended period of time. It's basically like a day or two. And then I
rotate out.
Yep.
Yeah, if I'm ruthless on Frentech, like I hate when people are like, "Oh, you brought my share and you sold." Like, dog, we're friends. Yeah, we're friends, dog. I don't need to pay to talk to you. I can talk to you on Twitter. I can talk to you at Discord. I can call you and we can be boys. Like, don't take it personal when I'm selling a thing that I literally don't care about. Me selling Bison or selling Joe isn't a reflection on their performance. It's purely me trying to make profit over a golden opportunity. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally what it is. So, I mean, guys, it's literally, you're just trading off sentiment. That's literally what it is. So if you think like, I have some trading strategies. Like one of mine that to me is just like so obvious, and I can see just Web3 people are just wee-woos about this stuff. It's the sympathy play. I already talked about it before. Yeah, just find some Web3 girl. That some lonely Web3 dudes are going to be like, oh, I bought a key, so therefore, like we're in love. And it's like, dude, that's not how the world works. I got to go out to the real world, go get a wife or something, but you can make money off that. So, like at the same time, this is so risky. Like if this is not on your risk curve, don't mess with it. Like it is okay not to be on top of this friend tech trade.
Oh, dude, I think I lost maybe about 0.1, 0.15 ETH so far, but it's fine. Like I figured I always allocate funds to lose so I can learn what the heck I'm doing and try to find an edge. So it's all good. But thing is, like if I just hit one and that one does really well, easy clap. Then I make up for all my losses. So it's like I know this is hella risky and I'm allocating for that. But I'm also not riding my bags to zero. So I'm being pretty cutthroat in this fintech stuff because I don't foresee it having a ton of longevity.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't either. I can see that if they make the app cool enough, I can see.
That's what I was gonna say, B. If they actually put some developer work into this, dude. I already heard NFT God and all these big name guys went away from it first. Then all they did was bring back the reply feature, and everyone's jumping back on. Like, yeah, like if they came out with a half decent UI UX, said, all right, we're revamping, we're shutting down for an hour, whatever, and Brawl, it's like just spent some money. Dude, like, yeah, I do think this could have legs to 100 million TVL.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying is like, if they just add some more features onto it, I could see it being cool. And, it's one of those things where you can rationalize it and you're like, there's nobody who's going to pay, like some of these big, and I'm talking not in Sol. They're like, Ansem, for instance, is like 3. Yeah. Like 3. You're like, nobody's going to pay $6,000 for access to basically his private Telegram channel. Stop trying to rationalize it. People buy like, $100,000 worth of a shit coin for floor price to go up. Like that's literally it. Or one of the things I've been seeing too is that some people are buying those top shares to get exposure for their account. So people buy their shares and like, look, we can call a spade a spade. A lot of this functions kind of like a Ponzi. It's a Ponzi, greater fool's theory, but what like isn't to some extent in NFTs? You know what I mean? Like,
especially in this market. Yeah.
I mean,
my thing is, it's like, don't sit here. Like what happens is like, I don't think there's an issue understanding it's very Ponzi-esque. I think the issue comes into play when you ate and then complain that you lost money and then call everything trash because you're stupid.
Yeah, and so what I think people are forgetting as well, the newbies, right? Everyone's here to farm the points. It's a blur farming. So the losing of ETH is kind of insequential. How do you say that word? I'm an idiot. Insequent. I don't know.
Definitely.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but the ETH earned. So the whole movement of this is you earn fees, you spend fees back on people's keys that are buying your keys. You're active. And all this is an algorithm to give you airdrop points every Friday, right? So no one knows exactly, but there's been hints at, between 30 cents to $3 possible token somewhere near in the future after the farming. So like this is basically a blur farm, so people are forgetting they're getting in just to trade and try to flip and make some ETH here. Most of the big name guys in here and the big hole, they're here just to farm the points. So I think people are forgetting like, because they're so hyped up about the fees and flipping. And I even did. I go, wait. This whole thing is to farm points for an airdrop. So there is a bigger picture to it. So it is technically a definite Ponzi because it has Ponzi-nomics throughout, especially with the airdrop, right? So I think I even forgot about it until we were talking. I was like, oh shit, the airdrop.
Yeah, dude, I just forgot all about that till you mentioned it. And and that is a good point, man. Like even if you take losses, you creating volume and farming points usually will make up significantly more than the losses. Because whenever you get an airdrop, you're getting in probably some of the best entry possible. Like my Optimism airdrop or whatever, I did bare minimum Optimism, got a couple hundred tokens, sold it at, I made like $1,000 off that thing or whatever. I don't know exactly when I sold it, but it was just like, it's very minimal risk for a high return. And FinTech, if they continue to go like develop this out, I think it has some future, some legs in the future, especially with the coin. If people are already speculating this much on the app, that coin would freaking send, and people would be trading it.
Dorian, and to double, bro, I just think it's the couples with the base and Coinbase, right? It being on base and Coinbase, significantly being a big player, whether anyone likes it or not, and, traded publicly. And it's just like, it just seems like if there was a token to pop in the future and things do turn around, the music's playing a little bit louder, like it makes sense, right? It's like I'm kind of left curving myself because at first I was like, man, I'm not touching this shit. I'm so tired. We keep it. And then I'm like, that's how you lose money in this space. Yep. If you're not left curving, you're right curving and you're chasing. Like, it's just, that's how it is. And it sucks for guys like us that are like, oh man, we're good people and we have a sound set of morals and values and we have a good investor's thesis. And then we see something so astronomically, insanely retarded, excuse my language in French, that we don't want to touch it. But it's just like, that's where the money comes. Like,
yes, dude.
Yeah, I mean, well, in the bottom right, it literally says airdrop, and you have referral codes. We saw this happen with STEPN too. Like, you gonna fade STEPN at the beginning too? Like, there's no shot you're going to. If you knew what STEPN did, and you faded them, you're like, move to earn. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have to, right? You just got to get out at the right time. That's literally it. So yeah, it is going back to this. You can remain irrational about it, fade, a liquidity event or liquidity magnet, as Joe likes to say. And that's okay. Like, there's always going to be another trade. Mm-hmm. If you get in it, though, I'm telling you right now, it won't last forever. People are going to look at this and they're going to create a competitor, especially if there's not enough app development. There's not enough incentives to like lure creators there and then make them refer out codes. Mm-hmm. And so you just got to keep watching that. And if you smell even the slightest bit of a product, fallacy where you're looking like, I think this is slowing down. You can actually look on DeFi Llama. And in fact, Shake, one of our favorite people in the space, just posted the TVL of it. It's almost at 35 million TVL, which is good. But, this is an ETH product. Like, that is, it has so much, like, this has the potential to go way higher. Yep. So I just look at this, like, the more people they bring in, the more TVL they're going to get. And they just need to develop a better app.
I think right now, I know this sounds ridiculous. I still think we're early on. Like, a couple months ago, last month we covered FinTech and none of us were touching it. But over the weekend, I'm like, man, this thing is actually growing. It's been around. It just did more volume than all of the NFTs on ETH. And I'm like, okay, regardless if I like it or not, there's something there. And with it continuing to gain more adoption, even if it's just amongst people in crypto, I still think it has a lot more room to run. There's a lot of big accounts out there that haven't created a FinTech account yet. So once we start seeing, Big Brain hasn't created an account yet. I know a lot of top ETH accounts haven't created yet. So there's still a lot more room to run, in my opinion, and those will trickle down because I think it's important. And that's another question I want to ask you guys. Like, what are you guys like looking at on FinTech and like kind of what's your strategy on like buying right now?
Yeah, I mean, mine's pretty simple. I already talked about one of the strategies. I really don't want to talk about it again, but the other one is like, just watch the global feed. If you see somebody that just created an account and you can tell because they have to buy their own key before they even set it up, and they're the only ones you see, and you get in early, it doesn't matter who it is. There's always bots that come in and they buy a few shares anyways, because you can literally pretty much arb it before the creator can even buy more of their keys. You can buy their keys. That's like, there's a delay time on it. So you can do that. You can also look for big names. There are bots that are coming out as well. I think Spot is one that Manny mentioned today on Easy Show, that if they come out with like some sort of bot to identify if a big following person just joined FinTech, I mean, that's easy money. Easy money. If you get in early enough, and Joe just bought Fast Eddie, and Eddie's so connected. Like, he was, of course, people just want to be around Eddie because he's contagious, right? Like, he's got good energy, and everybody loves Eddie, right? That's an easy share to buy. And so if you know somebody in the industry, I mean, Joe literally got on. We were on Spaces, and Joe's like, "Yeah, I joined," which Next time, Joe, you join something, you let me know first.
Yo, I know, Joe. Like, come on,
Yeah,
dog.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize the dude, I had no idea. Like it tweeted for me. I didn't even know it tweeted when I bought my shares. I got people messaging me, they're all pissed off. I'm like, is it oh, it 10x is like that. Like I'm like, sorry, I get it now, you know.
I just didn't know.
And Lou really blindly ate me and made it the 3 10x's off all 3 keys, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah. That brings up a really good point before we get into our next topics for today. But you get access, and we talked about this a while back when we first covered Friend Tech. The first thing you should do is go and revoke access to like permissions to tweet from your page and everything. You can do that by going to twitter.com, going to the More tab, and then going to settings and support, go to settings and privacy, and then make sure that you go to security and account access. Yeah. And then like just see if you have any app sessions, anything like that are connected to Friend Tech. Disconnect them. Don't give them permission, right? Because you could literally lose your account to Friend Tech if they ever go belly up or like this is malicious or anything like that. Don't let them have that much access. Remove my profile picture. I don't care. I don't care anymore. Just make sure you revoke those permissions like ASAP when you're doing this. So the other thing is Papa Romeo was asking, can we get a 2-minute tutorial on how to start a Friend Tech? If I could share my phone screen, I could. Yeah. Because you have to do a lot of it on the phone. Yeah. The one thing I'll say is this: you go to friend.tech, they ask you to like save the web page on your home page. Yeah. This is how it's really smart because they're actually able to skirt the app store
royalties
and still create like an app. You add it to your home page, and then it'll ask you to create an account. You have to fund it with ETH, but it's on the base network. I cannot stress this enough. You have to on the base network. A lot of places, like I funded it with ETH, and I was like, oh, that was dumb. So then I had to fund it with ETH from Coinbase. I specified that it needed to be on the base network. For some reason, still sent on ETH. I was so pissed. I was like, bro, you're actually kidding me. I had to buy more ETH and then like double check this time that it was on the base network. I swear I did it the first time. I've had multiple people reach out and say like they promised they selected the base network and it didn't work. So you might have to send a little bit. Just send a little bit at first, right? I know it's such a pain in the ass because you have gas fees and everything on ETH, but if you need to recover that ETH network, all you have to do is take out the private key on your account. Once you actually fund it, you actually get the option to export your private key, put it into Phantom, put it into MetaMask or anything. It'll automatically default into the ETH network. You'll be able to recover that ETH. So if you guys have that issue, that's what you need to do.
Dude, I did it a different way. Like, I know people have been using Coinbase Wallet and stuff. So my way is probably a little longer, but I felt safer doing it. Just because I didn't understand like how do you integrate the Coinbase Wallet and go from Base. All I did was send liquidity from Coinbase, ETH from Coinbase to my MetaMask, connect it to the bridge my ETH on my ETH from ETH to Base, and then just send my ETH base to my FriendTech wallet.
Yeah, you just need to make sure it's on the base network. Yeah. There's a lot of ways to go about it. It's just none of them are fun to do. Like it's like ETH. This is not the future of friends.
Like I was talking to my wife, it's like 2 years ago when I like had a bridge and swap and do all this stuff. It took like an hour or stuff because it's super complex. Now it took like all the 5 minutes. But if you're still not familiar with it, it can take a little bit.
Yeah, it's not fun. But this is the first iteration of a program like this. It actually, to me, is the second. Back in the day, there used to be something called Crypto All-Stars. And literally, there's these two guys, Coin Yeezy and Crypto Randy Marsh. And they created an app or a dApp that you could literally buy people's trading cards. It operated very similar to this. Like, you bought it, and then somebody else, like you could sell it and it would have to sell for 2x. If you couldn't find anybody to sell it for 2x, then you were the greater fool, right? Like, so it was Ponzi to like a T. But a lot of people are like trading these cards. And so if you got in quick, you were able to buy like Kobe. Back in the day, Kobe was not nearly as big as he is now. He was still massive, but not as big. And yeah, it just went up massively. Some people were making like 2 ETH off of this. So it operates very similar to it. This is the first iteration. It's a better iteration than Crypto All-Stars. They were very early to the game. But if somebody else comes in and does it better, then just watch out for that. And that would be the one thing I'd say is like the huge attack vector, or if people lose interest in it. That's just what happens. If you don't see development fast enough, I'd be getting all my ETH out of there quick. You saw it before. You saw it with like Zed Run, right? Which is the horse racing game, which leads us perfectly into our next talking point, which are horsies. Now we have photo finish. Photo finish has been a lot of fun. We've been meaning to get into this for a while. The other stream, I finally had Joe hold my hand and show me. I almost bought. First thing I'll say is don't buy a horse ticket off of the marketplace, like your tensors or snipers or anything like that. You can actually go into photofinish.com. Is it .com or .io? I can't remember. 1 minute. I'll check out real quick. It's .live, photofinish.live. And you can go into the marketplace there. You have to fund it with USDC to buy Derby, not Crown. Crown is the other one. And then you can buy horses off the marketplace that way. For the most part, they're cheaper. But not only that, you can see a lot more of the stats. You can compare them all. You can see like how old they are and everything like that. This game is so in depth. So shout out to Ian and the rest of the Third Take team, because this game, I mean, well, you shouldn't be surprised because of all their experience with what FanDuel or DraftKings, I can't remember which one it is, and then also EA Sports. Like, they crushed it. Literally, Ian is the inventor of the hit stick, which is one of my favorite features in Madden when I was growing up. So it's super fun to get into. Right now, I know Joe and I are buying more foals, which are the younger ones. You can't race them for 2 seasons, but they're also the ones that are going to have more longevity on them. They're usually undervalued. Anything under 20,000 Derby is pretty much free. And then you can also look at like bloodlines. What's the career earnings on their dad and their mom? What's the rankings and stats on them? What's the placements of those horses? You can kind of get an idea of what they're going to turn into when it comes to the foals. It's super intricate. It's a ton of fun to play around with. It's a little hard to get into, but I think once you're into it, you're like, okay, I can kind of see what generally to look for. There's plenty of articles out there, and I think photo finish is a great way to pass the time as we're just trying to cruise out this bear, because and again, guys, this bear I think will last until like April of 24. Like it's going to be a long time before we see any movement in crypto. Full stop. Dude. We're setting up powder in the keg. We don't have a fuse yet, but everything's setting up that the next bull run's going to be awesome. It's just a matter of when, and it's going to be a while.
Yeah, I'm not in any rush for the next bull market. I'm just going to stop thinking about it because I get depressed when I'm like, I think when we're like, oh my gosh, like I think when we're in that disbelief, like, oh, things are pumping, sure, we're whatever, it's going to go back down. I've been here before, and they keep going. I'm be like, wait, what the hell's going on here? But back to photo finish, yeah, man, like I have not picked up photo finish yet. It's crazy because like they went from nothing being going on in the market to like a lot of stuff, but nothing still at the same time. Like Heist has still been kicking it. Photo finish started, then FriendTech started. So I'm still playing around with FriendTech. After I finish playing around with that, plan on rotating back to photo finish to pick up some horses. But right now, I did pick up Nana because I'm like, I still want to have exposure to Heist, and I think Nana's the best way to have that without directly buying the NFT. So I picked up 50K Nana the other day. So I'm just sitting on a bag of that, just waiting for whatever comes next for Nana.
Yeah. And honestly, we're starting to do raffles for more, like basically we're creating an equal amount of chimps and tangs by the end of the season too. So there's still more chimps to give out. And I will tell you right now that the EV was actually on the chimp raffle with the Nana at Nana's current price versus the Coco raffle that everybody has Coco. I was able to, with pretty much the same amount that I entered, I got nothing. A big old nothing burger on the Tang raffle. I got 5 chimps with the same amount. Yeah, huge EV plus play. Ooh. And it was, we actually burned more like dollar amount in Coco than we did on Nana. We burned about $100,000 worth of Nana, and then we burned about $125,000 worth of Coco. So, which it's going straight to the incinerator. This is, again, we don't take a cent of it. So, yeah, I mean, it's fun to see it all play out. We did have Goon Tangs, which again, so much fun to say, Goon Tangs.
Goon Tangs.
Yeah, that's illicit. And then we had Goon Chimps as well in the raffle. So a lot more interest in them. We will have more moving forward. So on the recruitment raffles moving forward, you are going to have a chance to get a handful of these Goon Tangs and Goon Chimps. So,
dude, every time you say freaking Tang, man, it reminds me of this old movie called Pootie Tang, dog.
oh my gosh, that's all I could think of is Mr. Garrison from South Park. You know, is
Pootie Tang, Pootie say, what you mean? Oh, bro, you never seen Pootie Tang, Bison? You gotta watch it today, bro.
Pootie Tang is it, dog.
Bro, yeah, okay. We gotta stop talking about Pootie Tang on air. We're gonna get completely censored, but yeah, I mean, like, it's one going back to photo finish. Joe, I think you're the one to tell me the other day, how much did they do in horse sales in like a 2-day period?
2-day period, you're looking at almost $500,000 USD value. Because it's been like yesterday was like almost a $300,000 day. I actually sold all my my horses, flipped them all for $12,000, a 12,000 derby, which 80 derbies $1. So I made out pretty well. Flipped them back into some undervalued foals, and to be honest, my play right now is flipping foals. I keep my eye on the recently listed and price. And I just kind of go by what I know is undervalued now because I've kind of read through everything and I understand how people are playing it. And I understand people have a lot of breeds. So there's people that will dump good foals for the quick derby, and they might undercut the floor by 4,000 or 6,000 derby. That's an instant relist under the top. Boom. Like, there's so many different ways to make money in photo finish. It's pretty wild, right? You can stud your male out. You can breed your female. You can then sell your foal, right? You can bet on other people's races. You can race. There's all these things and side ventures that you can do right now. And now they brought auctions to the table. So now there's weekly auctions that they're Twitch streaming where people come in and basically try to get their horse to be put up. People vote on it. Now they have it's just very incentivized. Yeah, it's like they're checking all the boxes.
Yep. I think photo finish is a lot of fun to play with, and you can't ignore that kind of volume on a platform. And this is literally on a platform, like its own platform where, games should be trading. We do the same thing where we just integrate APIs on marketplaces, a little bit more Web3 focused, but what they're building over there can't be ignored. A $300,000 day in horse sales, like virtual horse sales. Are you kidding me? You can't fade that. Yeah, it's unfadeable anymore. You guys should be looking into photo finish. And seriously, there's so many good guides out there. I actually read some the other day that take like 10 minutes to get a full picture of what they're building out over there. I think it's sick. Go do yourself a favor. You don't have to buy anything at first either. You can play around with it. They gave you a trainer horse. You could just learn the ecosystem for a little bit if you want to have the patience for it and not have to do anything liquidity-wise. Just see, this is something that I really do think will be adopted and be a huge player moving forward. So shout out Photo Finish. Games, man. Games are hot right now, and you can't really fade them. Speaking of games, we got to get into Heist, and then we can wrap it up from there. We did have a Heist cast yesterday, and I know Joe was in there for a little bit. Dor, I know you're usually busy at that time. It's like 10 a.m. my time, so
yeah, I'm pretty busy. Like, it's
busy
hard
or
for me to
sleeping.
make spaces in the morning because it's like that's middle of my Web 2 work job that I have to like attend meetings for, and then I have Web 3 work that I need to get done. So like spaces kind of take a back seat, unfortunately.
Yeah. So anyway, with Heistcast, we basically jumped into a ton, right? One, speaking of goons, we are going to be dropping the utility. We did disclose that not only are they going to be unrectable, so you can't die when you have goon juice equipped, but you also can't lose your items with it. So you can have the best items you have possibly equipped, and you won't lose them. You can't get ambushed with them or anything like that. So huge utility there. If you do have goons, that should be coming out. I don't want to put a timeline on it. We didn't put a timeline on it in the Heistcast. The big news, though, is that mobile's coming. Mobile is coming.
Yeah.
And as Juice said, it's a matter of days, not weeks. So, I would be on the lookout for that next week. Next week on the mobile build. When we drop the mobile build, it's going to be much more of like, I would say more of like an essential companion than the full-fledged app that we want to build out. And it's probably going to be, it is going to be browser based, right? So like you'll be able to use your Phantom mobile app. You'll just go to the heist.game, kind of like what we did with Remnants, and be able to send them out, claim, go out on whatever you need to. You can access the hub. So if you want to get into any of the raffles, you can do that as well. It'll have all the essential features, and then we'll build it out from there. So this is huge for us. I know this was a huge choke point for a lot of people. They didn't have time to play on the PC, didn't want to buy into it because, if I'm gone for so long, when can I possibly claim? I don't want to have that risk on the table. Now you don't have to. You have no excuse not to play because you can play it from your app, and you can literally just save it into your preferred websites on your browser feature on Phantom or Soulflare or whatever you're using, and boom, you can now play on phone, which is great. I love to see it. I've been asking for this for forever, and it's finally coming. The other thing is that we do have land deeds, land grab, land deeds, whatever you want to call them, are coming soon. They're going to be a lot of fun. They're going to be so much fun. We've been teasing a lot of the features on them as far as what they're going to look like. There's going to be plots of land. You will have some sort of interactivity with them. They're going to be a flagship feature, but not needed for breeding, which is another thing we've introduced as well. Dor, I see you have a question.
Yeah. So about land, let's say you purchase land, do you get like an NFT to represent that, or like how does that go about?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Dude,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I need to buy more Nana now.
Yeah. So Nana's going to be the primary vehicle for it, but we aren't going to exclude people that just have Coco as well. So there will be multiple features for it. It will be both to an extent, but I would definitely be stacking Nana. Just one obvious thing. We've been talking about it for forever. There's never going to be enough Nana. It stopped emitting. So, do all that. Papa's asking, will land purchase be guaranteed or will it be distributed as a raffle? There's multiple mechanics in it. So I can't divulge too much in it. There's many ways to go about land, and there's going to be different plot sizes for land as well, and locations and everything. So we'll have more information for it, but right now there are multiple ways of getting land. It won't just be a straight raffle, although that will be one of the mechanics. So
it just seems like for me right now, as somebody who's not holding chimps or gorillas or tangs, like getting Nana for land is another good entry into the ecosystem.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell people too, like straight up, if you have the liquidity and you want exposure to the ecosystem, I think that Nana is probably the best play. If you don't have the time, Rillas are always they're always gonna trade at a premium. There's no more Rillas. There's no more passive way to play the game. And some people are like, I wish there was more features for gorillas. Bro, there's whales out there that are like, this does everything I want it to, right? This
is all I need.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're like, well, they should be trading at like 3x. Bro, the market decides it. Like there's always gonna be a premium on a premium feature, a premium asset. Why are jokers valued more for D-gods, or apes or whatever, right? So it's just a status symbol. So, you have to factor in that premium in as well. But yeah, there's a lot to one. Also, if you have any chimps and Rillas listed, delist them, put them in the game. There is going to be another airdrop. We are going to get some more legendary crates, and what is in them, we don't know. There's going to be a whole new loot table for that. And goons, what else are we doing? Oh, also multi-chain. Multi-chain's coming in the future. It's not just going to be Solana anymore, although Solana is home for us. Never going to ignore it. We're not saying we're moving chains or anything. We're just expanding chains, right? So, and then we'll have breeding. I think breeding is one of the other big features I'm excited for in the future as well, that I think will be really good for scalability, that also preserve value for the original holders. So there's going to be Gen 0 and then onwards.
Dude, I'm sorry. I got a question about breeding real quick, because right now the collection is only full of dude chimps, dog.
Yeah, don't worry. We got this covered, Dor.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not dudes. First off, how dare you? All right, it's 2023. Are you assuming their gender? Bro, you assuming their gender, door?
Canceled over here. I guess dudes can't have kids now.
I already canceled. I just blocked your door. I can't have any type
It's like
of
no
connection
association with Dorian.
Bro, PC police gonna come out for you. I can't believe you just assumed.
This does not reflect RareFUD's overall view.
Where's our lawyer, dude? Yeah.
He's no longer on the show.
Anyways, yeah, there will be breeding mechanics. I don't want to say it's just breeding straight up, where it's just we're going pillaging in Peel City, and I don't mean that in the traditional sense.
The chips getting crazy, dog.
I'm so done talking about this. Okay, anyways, a lot coming for Heist. We pretty much laid out, a majority of our plans. We obviously got to keep some speculation in the back pocket, but highlighted a majority of major features that we have coming. We didn't even talk about contested zones or anything like that, really, or Trump's residence. We still have so much ammo in the back pocket that we can just unload at any time. I saw somebody that was saying that we'll never get above 20 Sol floor price again. And I'm just sitting here like, bro, you gonna be hurting it a little bit, bro.
This is why you counter trade people on the timeline.
I know, it's so
these
fun.
Dudes don't know what the hell they're talking about. Like if you said 25, 30, even then I'd be like, I don't know about that. But it's a lot more plausible than 20. They're sitting at 18 right now. What isn't that? What, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, they're like, I'm gonna let people be people. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting to. We have ambitions that we want to get to step in levels of adoption, but also have a game that is a more sustainable economy than what Steppen had. Right, Steppen was a straight Ponzi. You're just moving to earn, and you're getting the token to dump or reinvest it back in the game to earn more token to dump. That was always the goal.
I think that's where you guys set yourself apart from. Everybody's been calling Heist a Ponzi, and I'm like, not really.
They've been hurt, bro. They've been hurt.
It just doesn't make any sense. For me, a Ponzi is you just, like you said, you buy this token or you farm this token for the sole purpose of dumping it. In-game tokens are not a Ponzi, in my opinion, because you're using it for other assets within the ecosystem, whether that be leveling up, raffles. That's not a Ponzi token. If the only thing, if Coco or Nana did not have a liquidity pool, nobody would call it a Ponzi, even though people would find out ways to trade it. Because all mobile app games, you buy an in-game token for. The only difference is that you can't cash that in-game token back out for USD. You can in Heist. So I think people throw around the term Ponzi too liberally instead of looking at what separates a Ponzi from an actual in-game token.
Yeah, you speak into the choir, my G. That is something I preached about for 2 months in season 1, and I was like, you know what? I'm so tired. I'm so tired of people. I'm not going to change their mind. I'm never going to change it on Twitter. I was like, I'll just show them that this is sustainable, and then they'll be like, bro, how did I fade generational wealth and so much fun during a bear? And you're like, well, we tried to tell you, but you stubborn ass just stuck in your ways. So, yeah, I don't know. It's super fun. I'm excited for it. I think it's going to bring a lot more fun to our own ecosystem, but it's going off this game's play, man. I'm glad we were able to kind of, I don't want to say we were the ones to spark it, but we definitely played a key role in it. So, we're a catalyst for it. Then you had photo finish that has always been undervalued. And it's not even that I faded it. I just didn't take the time because I was building out Heist or anything like that. To sit down and learn it, right? And so now that we sat down with photo finish and watched it run up, I'm like, yeah, this was easy. So the last part of this before we get into our outro is let's find some other games that I think are undervalued. We've already talked about Honeyland, and I do think that there is some value in Honeyland. I still had to play around with it.
Same.
I couldn't get Test Flight, you have to download Test Flight onto your phone to download the app because they're trying to skirt the iOS until they get iOS permit, which you already heard Corey. He's like, yeah, we're already good to go. It's just, we got to release it, right? So some countries you can download it right now. Some countries you can't. They're already authorized to. It's just rolling it out, right? So for us in the US, I have to download Test Flight. and then I have to download Honeyland, and then it has to connect to my wallet. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, God, please just connect to my wallet, and it won't. So I got to figure out what's going on there. But I do think that there is value over in Honeyland. And by the way, you can get into like a full ecosystem of Honeyland for like a soul or less. You know, like you can get into the generations part of it and just go ahead and play. This is one of the things that I think, you know, we kind of do with raffles and everything. With, you know, it only takes 5,000 cocoa, which is, you know, what, like $1, not $2, I think, for a raffle ticket. So there is scalable entries, but you're not guaranteed to play. Whereas Photo Finish has their free to play trainer. You can't win anything or anything like that, but you can at least explore the ecosystem. And then you have Honeyland Generations, which are literally like less than $20. You can get a full fleet of them. You can get a queen and 3 of the Generations bees or anything. So much more scalable entry. I think Honeyland actually could have some legs, especially as they roll out the iOS app. The other one I really want to talk about, though, is Fidelian. All right. Fidelian is, I've talked to Riot a couple times before. Super smart guy, very plugged into the Southeast Asia gaming area, which is probably the most bullish place for Web3 games, in my opinion. Like we see MapleStory coming out, and they're going to release some Web3 stuff. Pokemon was teasing it for a little bit, then they scaled back, and now they might be going back into it. I don't know what's going on over there. But I think Southeast Asia is a huge market for Web3 games. I mean, if you look at WoW gold farmers, they're all from like Thailand and stuff, right? Like those guys were grinding like crazy, and they can make money. So if you just give the Axie, for instance, another one, most of the players that were like forming these gaming guilds and stuff were coming from Southeast Asia. So they're plugged in over there. They just moved staking sites to a different staking site, if I'm not mistaken. They just released the black market, and they will be coming out with a full-fledged game. I think this is one you don't want to sleep on for too long. I think it's still at a pretty good price of about 7.4. I think you could probably find a little bit of retracement, but right now, I mean, like, I would be looking to buy. I do have 2, just a disclaimer, you know, full disclaimer. I do own 2. I'm probably looking to buy some more. I like Riot a lot. He's making some networking calls too. He's just over in NFT Seoul, over in South Korea. So I think this is another one that should be on your radar. That's all I'm saying. You know, put it on there. And, you know, we've been talking about like Moonfrost whenever they come out. It's supposed to be a free-to-play game.
I'm looking for that. That.
A good pixel farming sim game, just good for the soul, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you want to talk about something that's going to pass the bear market and just ease everybody's tension, it's a good pixel farming sim, dude. I'm so excited for whenever it drops.
I played Stardew Valley with my wife for like over 100 hours, man.
Yeah.
Like we used to sit there on weekends, just play Stardew Valley. Like
it's so much fun. Yeah. It's nice to turn off the brain and like play for an hour before you go to bed. And you're just like, oh yeah, this is great. You know, I lull myself to sleep, and it's nice. Animal Crossing, very much similar, you know, like those type of lighthearted games, especially when you can like find something cool and you're like, oh man, I can go ahead and sell it. And then it sells for like $500. You're like, dude, if I can play a farming sim and sell something for $500, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm all over that. I'm all over it. So whenever that comes out, yeah, that's my other one. But Fidelian is the one that I think in the short to midterm, probably going to melt some faces. I'm just putting it out there.
Definitely agree with you, dog. Yeah, man, I think we covered everything pretty good, dog. I don't have anything to add on that.
Yep. I got to get to golfing. So we're going to go ahead.
I got to go get my haircut.
There you go. So for the outro, guys, I do just want to let everybody know, this is going to be our last show for the foreseeable future. We've had so much fun building out RareFUD. This is not goodbye or anything like that, but we are taking an undisclosed break. We have been working tirelessly for over a year, and I think it's just a byproduct of the market. I love the show. I love the people that have stuck with us, especially in a bear market. But right now is not a high impact time. And I think we could also be focusing on, like Doors focusing on a community building company with Shake and everything in between. Joe's working on Web2 stuff. I got real estate as well as Heist, as well as, you know, everything in between. We got other obligations that we need to do that, you know, for us is just, it's tough. So taking out an hour of our day on Tuesdays and Thursdays, as well as, you know, show prep and getting thumbnails ready and everything in between on show costs. For us right now, it's just, we need a little break. So, and it's going to be more than, you know, our 2-week break than we took last time. So we'll keep you posted. This is not goodbye for forever, but like you'll see us on Spaces, I'm sure still. You'll see us on Twitter, I'm sure still. We're still going to be present. It's just the show takes a lot out of us, and we just need a break. So this is going to be our last show for a while. I love you guys. You guys rock. You guys are the whole reason that we started this show, and it became what it did. We are looking forward to whenever the bear market ends and we finally get a little bit more traction, just in crypto in general. Like if the crypto market still like just runs, right? We come back in full force. It doesn't even matter that NFTs aren't running, because we know we can smell a bull around the corner. And what we think is going to happen is crypto, then DeFi, then NFTs, right? It's going to happen. So this is goodbye for now. You'll see us on the timeline, I'm sure, but this is not goodbye for forever. We just need a little break. This is just something that, we got other stuff to do. So we appreciate you guys tremendously for making RareFUD what it is. We will let you know whenever we do come back. But until then, we appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of RareFUD Radio. And we love y'all. Hope you have a blessed day. And thank you so much.